So I'm working on reading the Harvard classics before the end of 2022. So that's about 51 books. I started the last half of December, so I have a little like 2 weeks. I have about 53 weeks, 55 weeks to read 51 books. And I just finished volume 5. They are some essays and speeches by Ralph Waldo Emerson. There's also a small book that he wrote called English Traits about England. And I'm just going to give a quick review. There's several parts of the essays that I did like. Um, so, for example, in this address to divinity students, he's talking about spirituality and he's talking about inspiration. And so a point that I liked is he says, truly speaking, it is not instruction but provocation that I can receive from another soul. What he announces, I must find true in me, or wholly reject. And on his word, or as his second, be he who he may, I can accept nothing. So I just like that point that it is provocation, what you're trying to do, at least with religious teaching. You can't actually give someone a spirituality, and you can't give people knowledge or faith. You can try to provoke it in them, but it ultimately has to be their decision to follow it. It's not something that you can give them. And I like that point that he made. Another point that he made that I liked is just this really short line. This is in an address on self-reliance, an essay on self-reliance, but he says, it is great to be misunderstood. This is very similar to a phrase that Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, that some of the Stoic philosophers like to quote, is that it's a royal thing to do good and be evil spoken of. Just a similar idea that great people are often misunderstood and evil spoken of, and that it's a mark of greatness to be able to continue in doing what is right despite being evil spoken of. So that's a good point that I like. Some other good points that I like is here when he's talking about friendship. He had lots of good points about friendship. The part that I highlighted here is it's thought to be a disgrace to love unrequited, but what we will see that true love cannot be unrequited. True love transcends instantly the unworthy object and dwells and broods on the eternal. And when the poor interposed mass crumbles, it is not sad, but feels rid of so much earth and feels its independency the sure. Just the idea that truly loving someone, it doesn't matter if they love you back. That's not what true love is. It's something that's internal. It's something you decide. Another good point that he makes with friendship is that friendship is composed of two things. It's composed of trust. It's composed of honesty. You have to be honest with someone in order to be their true friend, and you need to be kind. It's trust and tenderness, or it's honesty and tenderness is how he phrases it. Those are the two essential qualities of friendship, and so I think those are good points. Another good point that I liked is he quotes Sophocles. So I guess this isn't Ralph Waldo Emerson's point that I liked, but Sophocles here is about to die. And in this quote, he says, why should I grieve or vex for being sent to them that I ever loved best? And I thought that was a beautiful sentiment, that he shouldn't be grieved or vexed that he should die. But overall, though, despite finding some great nuggets in here, I did not like Ralph Waldo Emerson. He strikes me as kind of arrogant. He does not strike me as humble. He strikes me as I disagreed with lots of the things that he writes. His essay on English traits kind of vacillates from being very praising to very demeaning, and he kind of thinks of people in that pre-civil rights area. He thinks of the English as a race, as a group, like a racial group, which is strange to think of English people like that. But yeah. So he has lots of things that were off-putting for me that I did not like. his overall philosophy, he really loves novelty. He really loves ingenuity, being original and nonconformance. That seems to be what he truly prizes, and that's the thrust. And so I felt like this passage here really encapsulates his philosophy. Insist on yourself, never imitate, right? And then going down, he says, where's the master who could have taught Shakespeare? Where's the master that could have instructed Franklin or Washington or Bacon or Newton? Every great man is unique. So just the idea that he feels like genius and to be important is to be original and to do something new. Now, it's interesting. I've read Franklin, and he talks about the great men who instructed him. He talks about his father, in his autobiography. He talks about learning a lot from his father and learning a lot from books. And similarly with Bacon, he refers to a lot of books and other people that he is learning from. But they have new thoughts that transcend what he learns from. And so that seems to be the thrust of his philosophy. And personally, I didn't really like him very much as to read him, but he did have some good nuggets in there, and I'm glad that I did read him, so I can say that I have. So that's my review of Volume 5 of Ralph Waldo Emerson's Essays and English Traits.